Hello. So did anybody email the instructor?
I think Sam said he was going to do that.
Okay, cool.
Yes, I emailed the teacher. Or
Great.
sorry,
Great,
what were you
thanks.
guys talking about?
Emailing the link to the teacher.
Yeah, I invited her through her Gmail.
Okay. Cool. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, you know, good.
There we go.
Let's see here.
I like your Wizard of Oz picture.
Oh, thanks. Favorite movie?
We tried to have my kids sit down and watch it. They wouldn't watch it, so we gotta wait till they get older.
Yeah, I think sometimes it might scare a few kids.
Yeah. They're into Lego Batman, so.
I heard that was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was okay. I had to sit through it with my nephew, but it was okay.
Anybody doing anything awesome this weekend?
Yeah, just like homework and maybe sleep in till 8 a.m.
I can agree with that.
So pretty intense weekend plans.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds
Can't wait
awesome.
for the break.
Yeah, what, 5 weeks?
Yeah, I think so. And then I'm taking a summer class as well, so.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Smash it all into 6 weeks.
Yeah, I usually take the religion class because they're not too bad for the summer.
That's good.
Yeah, I wouldn't take an English class. I had to do a lot of papers now. No.
Yeah. They don't offer this class during the summer.
I think it would be pretty hard to squeeze it in, like 6 weeks or
Yeah.
7 weeks, however long it is.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, oh, it's probably good they don't do that because I don't know how they would do all the reading and
No, I guess, we're like missing Paige, aren't we?
Yeah, and then 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Two other
people.
A few people today.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, I didn't.
think there's one person who's never come yet. I don't remember their name, but maybe they'll come this time or show up.
I made it this time.
Oh, Anna Campbell. I
I think
think. I don't think she
yeah.
had been. Yeah. I was just looking at the emails.
Oh yeah.
She's not in the class anymore, so.
Oh, okay.
Well, that makes sense. Then
She hasn't emailed us back saying, "Hey, take me off the emails."
that's too late. She's locked in to the email.
Do we want to go ahead and get started, or just want to give Paige a little bit more time? Or
I don't know. Sam's the leader this week.
I know that's what I'm.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm trying to get everything open up.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, let's give her maybe like a minute or more. Minute or so, and then we'll get started. Does that work for
All
everyone?
right. Yeah, that sounds good.
Do you guys have any questions for me before you get started while we're waiting?
Not really.
It's a fairly straightforward model, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more models I look at, the more I feel like they're all the same thing. I mean, there's
somebody's.
Yeah.
It's all somebody's idea of how to change behavior.
It's like just different words for the same thing, almost. I mean, there's some variances, obviously, but the general ideas, I think, are pretty universal.
Yeah.
Especially self-efficacy keeps popping up everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you guys want to get started, and then hopefully Paige and I think it's Williams, the other guy, will join us.
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds great.
Okay, so I'll just go through this. So briefly discuss a quick review of the model, summarize how the model works using the theoretical stages of change model infograph. So let's see if I can share that. Okay, I might not be, oh, here it is. Okay. Can everyone see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect. So does anyone want to take a turn just explaining like contemplation, like kind of what it means to them?
Pretty much it just means nothing. They don't have any intention to take action on anything new. They're just, it's like before the beginning of anything happening.
Yeah, that's what I have. They're just like starting to see how it influences others. And then contemplation, people
That's-
sorry.
I was just gonna say that, that's they intend to take the action within like 6 months or so. But to me, that's still like could be some kind of pre-contemplation too, because it's going to take you 6 months to make the change, or to even to try to decide to make the change. That's still I think you're still in both stages there a little bit, but you might be thinking about it just a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think the homework stated something like that pre-contemplation is you have no intention to do anything within the next 6 months, right?
Right.
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 So you're not going to take any action. You're not going to make any changes. You're not even going to really think about it or make any plans or anything like that. I think that's the basic idea of pre-contemplation because it's before you start contemplating it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then contemplation is like getting the idea in your mind, like, oh, this is something I should work on, but not putting those, I guess, thoughts into action.
Maybe
Right.
making more long range goals instead of the short-term goal, maybe.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, that's actually going to be the part of the preparation.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're just thinking about it. And then when you get into the preparation part, then you're starting to say, okay, well, what are some steps I might need to take? How do I plan for this? What needs to change? What needs to stay the same? That's going to be the preparation part before you actually start doing it.
Yeah.
And then action is going to be starting to take those small steps.
Right.
Right. And then just action and what is it? Action and
The action stage.
yeah, maintenance or just moving forward and trying to keep yourself moving forward and not falling back into I can't think of the word that it uses, not relapsing.
Right.
Right. So maintaining the behaviors that you start in the action.
Exactly.
And then once you kind of feel like that's not a temptation anymore, then, well, in my notes I had a termination stage, but I don't really see that on this.
Yeah, it's not
It's
really.
in the chapter that we read.
Yeah.
It says
Right.
that
I don't think it's on.
that they have zero temptation and like 100% self-efficacy to be able to stand up and not fall back into the old habit that they were doing.
Yeah.
Which I don't see as being, I don't know, like the examples that I've seen or that I think I kind of understand of it. I've never seen anyone who's really been in that stage where they've been like, I've got no temptation to go back to do this thing whatsoever. I don't know if that's just me thinking out loud, but I just don't see that as being very much that it actually happens.
Yeah, I do agree. I feel like it's more like high maintenance. Like you might relapse every once in a while, but you're doing pretty good. But to be perfect at something, I feel like is another story. Like, but
I don't know if anyone else has another opinion on that, but that's kind of how I felt about it when I was reading it and while I've been thinking about the scenarios and things like that, where it's like you think about, as in like it shows that they're in scenario one about the kids that, well, eventually they'll stop playing video games and stuff, but as they grow older, they'll still play every now and then. They're not going to sit down and play 16 to 20 hours like they used to, but they'll probably still play 1 to 2 hours every now and then. It won't be the same temptation level, but they won't have, 100% control over the whole situation.
I don't know. I used to play video games a lot, and I don't do it anymore, just because it doesn't interest me anymore. Unless it's like I decide to go do it because it's going to be like a group activity thing with other people. Like I can't get behind like doing it on my own, but I can agree to a point where you say you can't be perfect because nobody can be perfect, but I think that you can focus on one type of behavior and become perfect at either doing it or not doing it. I think that's the point of a lot of the things that we're supposed to do in this life, both temporally and also spiritually. That's the point of like the atonement and repentance, and those things eventually become strengths because now you have empathy for others who are going through the same types of things, and you can help them better because you really understand where they're coming from. It's not a temptation for you anymore because you've worked through it. I think that we're totally capable of getting to that point. It's just, when you think about the behavior model that we kind of talked about, do you believe that you can? What is it called? That's self-efficacy, right?
Yes.
Where you believe that you're capable of overcoming the behavior. And then all the other
Right.
parts of the behavioral model and the motivations behind them. So do you believe you can? Do you think that how are you going to be perceived by others if you continue to do this behavior or change the behavior? You kind of have to change those beliefs if you're going to overcome them. But I think that it's totally possible. You just have to change your perspective and your belief on that kind of thing. And then obviously you're not going to be perfect in everything, but if you decide to work on one specific thing and you start to see that others have overcome similar things, then it's like, I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but if you remember, like in the Olympics a long time ago, the long jump was a certain amount, and it's the world record, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, that is so far. And then one guy comes along and he jumps further than that, and then everybody's like, oh, wait a second, I could probably do that too. And then they start to match that or exceed it because now in their minds they know it's possible because they saw it done before. Whereas before everybody was trying to get to this closer mark, but now the mark's further, and everyone's getting to the previous mark easily and exceeding that one because they know that more is possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really like the example you used about the Olympics. So I guess we can just move on to the processes.
Okay.
I have them up. The processes of change. I guess we can just read through them real quick. I don't know.
Okay.
Just conscious raising, finding and learning new facts, ideas, tips that support the healthy behavior and change. There's dramatic relief, which is experiencing the negative emotions, fear, anxiety, worry that go along with the unhealthy behavior or risk. Self-reevaluation, realizing that the behavior change is an important part of one's identity as a person. Environmental reevaluation, realizing that the negative impact of the unhealthy behavior or the positive impact of the healthy behavior on one's proximal social or physical environment. Self-liberation is making a firm commitment to change, helping relationships, seeking and using social support for health behavior change, counter conditioning, substitution of healthy alternative behaviors and cognitions for unhealthy behaviors, reinforcement management, increasing the rewards for the positive behavior change and decreasing the rewards of the unhealthy behavior, stimulus control, removing reminders or cues to engage in the unhealthy behavior and adding cues or reminders to engage in the healthy behavior, and social liberation, which is realizing the social norms are changing in a direction or supporting the healthy behavior change. So I guess who has an example of using one of those to help meet a goal or help change a behavior?
I think most of those are pretty universal.
Yeah.
We'll just take one, dramatic relief. I think everybody's made a decision that maybe wasn't a great decision and then experienced the consequences of it. Maybe you said something that you shouldn't have said or done something you shouldn't have done, and you feel the effects of it. You know, you call somebody a name and see that it hurts them, or you like I have a, not to get too personal, I had a brother that was addicted to meth for a while, and he did a lot of terrible stuff. And it started like at the worst point, he was like trying to break into our house and steal stuff so that he could go do what he needed to do, you know?
Yeah.
And I think eventually I don't think that they're ever completely oblivious to the fact that they're doing those things, but they just have such a need that it's more important to them at the time to do their addictive behavior. So, but I think there comes a point where they get so low that they're like, okay, this is worse than my need to fulfill my addiction. So maybe I should do something about it. You know? And then a lot of the other ones kind of play into each other. Like, then you want to make a firm commitment. So that's self-liberation.
Yeah.
Self-reevaluation. You're realizing that, oh, maybe this isn't great. Counter conditioning, that doesn't apply till later, probably. Seeking social support, that's kind of a must if you're talking about like drug addictions and things like that. You can't really do it on your own.
Yeah. Same with like social liberation. Like, you need to get out of that environment.
Yeah, I think the best example I know of social liberation is how smoking used to be really cool, and it was like on TV all the time, and in movies, and there was like ads all over the place. And now, if you smoke, people don't look at it favorably, and even everybody that I know that smokes, they're like, I know it's stupid. I don't know why I started. I don't know. They like are almost apologetic when they're doing it. They're like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go out here. Sorry guys, I'll Febreze before I come back, or whatever. It's just kind of interesting. They're like, I know I don't want to be doing this, and I know that this is stupid, but whatever. I'll be back in a little bit.
Yeah.
That is a good
That is
example.
great. Okay. What kind of interventions centered on the processes move people along the stages? So what kind of interventions did you guys come across, or did you guys think of?
Say that again, sorry.
Oh, it's just the next question. So what kind of interventions centered on the processes move people through the stages?
So in your reading, the chapter 5, page 101, it gives you like examples of interventions for each of the processes. I think you have that document already pulled up, Sam. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, here. I'll share it again. So, yeah, so for consciousness raising, interventions can be increasing awareness, including feedback, confrontations. There's just a lot of things for each process. There's a lot of interventions that one can do.
Yeah, so you can just look at those and then kind of work through as you go to part 2 and work kind of on the assignment. You don't have to rehash it again. You can move to part 2.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
We will move to part 2 then. So does someone want to read the scenarios, or at least the first scenario?
I can.
Perfect.
So scenario 1, you are a health educator on the BYU campus working with a group of young men who are spending in excess of 16 to 20 hours per week playing violent video games. These young men are struggling academically at school. Upon initial interview with these young men, none of them feel they have a problem and are happy with the amount of time they are spending gaming.
Perfect.
And do you want me to read the second one as well, and then we decide which one we want?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay. And the second one, you are a health educator on the BYU campus. Your roommate or spouse is struggling with depressive symptoms, but is not seeking help. How do you use the trans-theoretical stages of change model to develop interventions centered on the processes to move him or her through the stages? Understand that you need to do some preliminary research on working with individuals with mental health issues. Working with this population is not just a quick fix. Understand the target population from their perspective.
Okay. What do you guys think? I think scenario 1, I didn't do any preliminary research on mental illness, and I know it is a difficult subject. So do we just want to stick with the first one?
That's fine.
I'm okay with that.
Sounds good. So, so how can we apply this to the
Well, I'm pretty confident that most of those people are going to be in the pre-contemplation stage.
Yeah.
Unless they're starting to worry about their grades and think that there's a correlation, which they probably, maybe the only correlation that they would see offhand would be the time that they're spending. But apart from that, I don't know if they would see or I don't even know if there is a correlation between the type of video game you're playing and your grades. But it's definitely a time issue. If you're spending 20 hours a week, it could be affecting.
Yeah, definitely.
Homework and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely. So how can we like raise consciousness of these people? You know, it talks about things like feedback, confrontation. It would be hard to provide like meaningful confrontation to these people, but maybe like sitting them down with teachers or friends that are seeing the problems firsthand and seeing how it's affecting them, because they don't notice it themselves.
Like doing an intervention, like a friend intervention or a
like a roommate intervention, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
That would definitely be good.
Something that they use when you're like in nutrition classes, for example, they have you do like a food diary of how much you're eating and what you're eating, how much time, how much time you're spending doing certain things, and that could be a tool to really show them what is actually happening. If they can just log, not asking them to change anything, just log the time that they're actually using to play video games. Because I know that I did that once to see it, because I'm like a movie buff. I like watching movies and TV shows and stuff like that. That's kind of my time oyster. And one time I figured out how much time I was doing that over the course of 1 week, and it was embarrassing. So I have since tried. So now I was out of the pre-contemplation stage, and I was like, okay, well, something's got to give, because that's clearly affecting other parts of my life. If I'm spending this much time, just think of the things I could accomplish with those hours that I just am sitting watching a screen. You know, it was nobody saw it, but I was embarrassed. Just like, even though nobody knew about it, I didn't tell anybody how. I'm not going to tell you how many hours it was, but it was. So that would be, I think, an effective tool for the education part of it, consciousness.
Would that be like the self-reevaluation? Just finding it yourself and realizing, oh crap, I need to change this.
Yeah, it kind of goes with both of those.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in this kind of case where they're spending so much time, I feel like maybe a dramatic relief or an environmental reevaluation might be one of the better ways to go. Because I don't know if they're going to see it themselves. You know, like if you give them that kind of option to do that, they might not even realize that that's something that's bad, considering they're okay with it. They know they're spending the time and they're okay with that.
I guarantee they don't know how many, unless they've done this reevaluation process, I'm sure they haven't realized just exactly how many hours. Because
I guess that's the way I read it. I read it the way that they know that they have 16 to 20 hours. I guess it's just the way you read it.
Well, this is just it's just describing that's what they are doing. That doesn't mean that they know that that's what they're doing. But I mean, it could be either way. I'm just saying.
No, right.
Yeah. That's why you have to know. That's one of the things about, you would have to know that about the population. That's one of the things about knowing who your target is and what they're, not only what they're doing, but what they know and what they're aware of in regards to the behaviors that they're taking.
Let's just say, for the sake of pre-contemplation, they don't know how many hours they're playing, as far as in the pre-contemplation stage.
Okay. So yeah, so that would be, those would all be good tools.
But then, I mean, as you move to the next stages, you'll assume that they know they're playing that many hours, in contemplation stage. And
Okay. Cool.
Perfect. Yeah. So contemplation stage, what can move them? I guess if you look at the picture, it says the contemplation stage, self-reevaluation moves them into preparation, or prepares them to make those changes. So I guess that's when the self-evaluation would come into picture. Should they can realize what they're doing wrong and what they need to change.
Yeah, that's where it becomes from just information to something that's important for them to change, I think.
Yeah.
So they decide, oh, this behavior, okay, I am doing this behavior. Now I think that this behavior should probably be changed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to move them from from contemplation into preparation.
Yeah. And
the log would work for that too, like you said.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Oh, I said, I think it was, did you go by Logan or Whitney or?
I'll go by Kennedy, sorry.
Kennedy, okay, sorry. Sorry, Kennedy. I'm used to just seeing your name on the.
Okay, I understand.
Kennedy said keeping a record for self-reevaluation. That would work too. I mean, for values clarification and things like that. So it could work in both stages, keeping that record.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like self-liberation, how would that work in this model? I mean, or in this scenario? So I guess it's just realizing that the problem is fixable, that they have this addiction to video games and that it's affecting their lives in a real way, and that they are willing to change that. And this is like they're starting to take action, or at least start to organize action.
So I think this is a little bit more of like gathering information that they're going to do. That's going to be that's the information that they'll get from using that log to see just exactly how much time they're spending. They might be starting to need to look at things like, okay, what types of triggers do I have that makes me want to play video games so much? Are there certain places that I do this more consistently? Are there places where I don't feel as much of a temptation to do this specific behavior and stuff like that? I think is kind of that step, and then to kind of identify things that might pull them back into the behavior so that they can plan accordingly.
Yeah.
Great.
I definitely agree. So that was self-liberation. So what about social liberation? So an increase in social opportunities or alternatives. I feel like this would be like finding a new hobby, something else they could do with that, 16 to 20 hours a week that they're getting back, and something.
Homework.
Yeah, homework. They probably need to be doing that.
Yeah.
Homework, exercise would be another good one.
Yeah.
Just things that are a little more active.
Yeah.
Perfect. So that would move into action, and then maintenance. So that would be counter conditioning. So I guess this would be kind of going along with the same thing, like picking up a new hobby, finding something that fits better or helps more.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then stimulus. So that would be like avoiding the triggers, avoiding things that cause them to go back to video games, kind of like maybe getting a new friend group, maybe avoiding like video game parties, because I know that's a thing, things like that. Anyone else have any other ideas about stimuluses?
Yeah. Well, I think that one's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Contingency
You could,
man.
like move.
Oh.
You could move like the game, like the controller or the game box. I'm not into video games. Sorry, I don't know what it's called.
I'm not either. So yeah, this one was a little hard for me to.
The game, the console.
Or sell their gaming system.
Yeah, you can move the console to like I don't know. Say if you had a bunch of roommates, you could move it into like the central area instead of just in your room, or you could
don't have it
put it
connected
in-
all the time, maybe.
Yeah.
Or lock it up and get somebody else the key.
Yeah. Bury it in the backyard.
Yep. Have somebody hide it from you.
Another thing I think is knowing those key time markers, like the 6-month intervals. I think are important to remember. As far as like setting goals and milestones and knowing that you're accomplishing something, kind of thing, keeping track of that. I think that's an important part of changing behavior as well, because the longer you go, the less likely you are to go back, because it's like, okay, I've spent all of this time working on this and doing my best to avoid this specific thing, right? And then if it's been 3 days, you're like, well, it's only been 3 days. It's like no big deal. Or if it's been like 6 months, a year, and you're like, okay, well, if I do this, then I lose this whole year of work almost. And it's kind of an extra motivator. You know?
Yeah, and I know for me, it kind of like helps me when I'm trying to like set goals, or like, I guess in this situation, change of behavior, seeing like how long I've been doing this for, and like, okay, I've done it for like a week, I can do it for another week. Like I've done it for a month, I can do it for another month. So keeping track, like those positive milestones.
Yeah.
Like,
celebrate the small victories.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Perfect. Let's see. I feel like that pretty much walks it through the whole model. Does anyone else have any other ideas or interventions or anything?
So none of them children have a problem. And they're happy about the time they're spending. Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty much it.
I feel like that's pretty good for today. And like what you said at the beginning, this model's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. So I feel like that covers most of it.
So,
Yeah. Great job. Any other questions?
I don't have any. Thank you
All
for
right. Thanks for letting me meet with y'all.
thank you for coming.
do you have anything that, like any special secrets we can know for easy grades coming up?
No, I try to put them out in the announcements, so I try not to hide anything.
Okay. All right.
I try to help you out. I try to help you guys as much as I can.
We appreciate that.
Yes, very much
You're
so.
always welcome to email me with questions, or
Okay.
even if you want me to look over your assignment ahead of time.
Oh, see, there's a
Awesome.
secret right there.
Thank
You
you.
guys have a good weekend.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
And
Bye.
then,
And who's going to be the group leader next week?
I'll do it.
Okay.
perfect.
Are you able to set up, and did you record this, Sam?
Yes, this is all recorded.
Okay, cool. That's good.
I'll let you know, Ben, if I need you to set something up if I can't figure it out.
Yeah, so you'll have to do like Google Hangouts on Air, get yourself set up for that.
I do have
Which
that.
basically-
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll need to be connected to a YouTube account.
Got that.
Okay, so that's all set up. Then all it is really is going to the Google Hangouts on Air app or whatever, and you just press start a Hangout and then send out the link.
All right. I'll try to remember that. All right.
I just copied the link and then I paste it in the email. So that's
Okay.
good.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good.
Anything
All
else?
right.
Sounds good.
All right.
That's it.
All right.
All right.
guys.
Awesome. All right.
Thanks,
See you guys next week.
And, hey, Sam, do you have all our names written down? For who was here?
Yeah, so it's Ben, Kennedy, Karen, right?
Right.
Perfect. Yeah.
Forget yourself.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, don't forget myself. Good idea.
Don't forget yourself.
All right. See you guys next
Thanks.
week. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.